Hi guys, as promised we've got some of these daily challenges for you. Each of these videos is going to go through a challenge which you can do yourself. That's going to be the first bit of the video, so if you just want to see the challenge, that's out of the way straight away. After that there's going to be some tips on that challenge so you can get better at it. And at the end of each video are going to be some conditioning and strength exercises to get you stronger to be better at that challenge. Today's challenge number one, is one you can do at home, on your own, anywhere. Very, very simple. You're going to see if you can do a jump, precision jump, and stick it of your own height. And we can use anything to measure this out. I'm sure a lot of people have got these kicking around at home. So what I'm going to do is mark there, and then mark the other end. And starting here, I'm going to swing my arms, going to jump, and land at my height. You can make that a little bit tougher by extending your arms and jumping and sticking it and jumping and sticking it. Easy peasy. If you manage to do a jump your own height and a jump your height plus your arm, and you manage to get there and back again, then you can increase it in little tiny increments. See how far you can jump and stick it. So don't forget to use the hashtag Kinetix challenge. I want to see what you're doing at home. Now, as promised, here's some tips on that. Tough in here because it's a big echoey room with a concrete floor. But see if we can land quietly as well. Notice when I land, I'm landing the balls of my feet. My heels are a little bit higher. I'm keeping my back upright and bending down. When you jump, try and jump high instead of just straight out. The difference being versus. So it's a lot easier to stick when you're coming down as opposed to straight forwards. Things to think about when doing your jumps. We're now going to look at two different exercises which can help you with your precision jump. They're going to help with things like getting power to jump and also absorbing those landings. And these exercises are going to be our squat and our single leg hip thrust. And for both these exercises at the moment, you've got to be looking at a level that's going to actually challenge you. For bodyweight exercises like this, we're looking at 3 or 4 sets, each consisting of between 10 and 14 of each exercise. If you're not sure to begin with, go for 3 sets of 10 exercises with about a minute's rest in between. If that's really easy, then we can either add an extra set on and do 4 sets of 10, or you can do a few more exercises, a few more reps per set. Now for the last part of our video, we're going to be looking at some exercises you can do to get better at that. And exercises for jumping will be a couple of my favourite exercises, the first of which is the squat, which I might even do a whole video about the squat. There's a lot to think about when we're squatting. And the other one is our hip raises, hip thrusts. So we're going to have a look at those exercises. To start with, squats with your body weight, absolutely fine. Your feet should be between hip and shoulder width apart. You've got to find where you're comfortable. Your feet will be at a natural turnout, so not necessarily here. And generally most of us aren't bendy enough to get them dead forwards, but we want to aim for that. So natural turnout. And when we do our squat, these are the important bits. Your knees should be tracking over your feet. So whichever way your feet are facing, your knees are facing the same way when they bend. So we don't bow them in, we're not sending them out. And you see what's happening to my feet there. I want my feet to be as flat as possible. And I want my weight to be across the whole of my foot. So from here, my body's completely upright, my torso's upright. I tend to have my arms in front of me a little bit for a little bit of counterbalancing. And then we're going to drop down and up. There you go, there's my squat, my feet are flat, I've got my knees tracking over my feet. Now things we can do if you find that your feet are bowing in, imagine that you've got some floor tiles and you want to try and pull those tiles apart. You can see what's happening there. As I'm actively pulling my feet out, I feel the tension here and I can see that my knees suddenly are over my feet. So on the way up, I'm pulling that floor apart and I can feel that really working here, my posterior, my bottom. We want to keep those feet flat. Now this is slightly different to the way we do our landings in parkour, our precision landings, because that's involving balance. This is purely a strength exercise, a conditioning exercise. So there's some differences. I've got my feet in the same position, and when I go down, I'm trying to keep my back nice and flat, and come back up. And what you can see happen there, you can get a little bit of this pelvis tilting. Okay? We want to keep your back as flat as possible. Ideally, we want to go down as low as we comfortably can while keeping that form good. So if you find that you're getting to the very bottom and your feet are doing funny things and your back's doing funny things, don't go quite that low. You only need to go down to about parallel, where your thigh is parallel to the floor. If you're bendy enough, by all means you can go lower as long as you're keeping good form. So I'm here, going down and up. There's our squat. My feet are flat. If you do find this really difficult, if you're not very bendy, you can raise your heels slightly by putting something under it. So by grabbing something I can put my heels on, I just raise it a little bit, and it's suddenly far more comfortable to get all the way to the bottom, and I'm keeping weight across my whole foot. That's the important thing here, you want weight across your whole foot. I've come inside for this next exercise because this one can be done on anything. I'm going to use a sofa because I'm sure we've all got those at home. And it's our single leg hip thrust. And it's going to look like this. You put your upper back on the sofa, one foot on the floor, one leg out straight, and here. And then do the same on the other leg. Squeezing your bottom, sending your hips up in the air with one foot flat on the floor. So we're looking at between 3 or 4 sets of 10 to 14 of each exercise, with about a minute's rest between each set. Good luck and show us how you get on.